Alright, I wanted to do a video on how to adjust the rear shock on a Vulcan Classic here. Kawasaki Vulcan Classic. First thing you're going to need before you do anything, grab your beer. Can't do anything without beer. Make sure you got plenty of beer that's cold. See, that's frosted up, so it'll help you get this job done. But nonetheless, I looked at a lot of videos on this bike about how to do this. And a guy started and tried to remove some things, tried to get back to the shock here. You could see it. Couldn't do anything with it, then he stopped. Well, I don't know why the dumbass posted the video, because he didn't get anything accomplished, except for to show you that it couldn't be done easily. Nonetheless, it's pretty easy to do. First thing you have to do is, I got a lift here, which gives me a great advantage for working on things, but you got to get this thing up in the air to where that swing arm can come all the way down. Now, the problem I had is, I could go back here and use my center jack to get it up off the back wheel, but then I had to put it on these blocks. The reason I had to do that is, in this frame right here, there are components in between there that stick down. So I can't put a jack on there without damaging things in the process. So I went ahead and jacked it up from this side right here, got it up, put these blocks in, lowered it back down, and the swing arm just goes down in its natural position with no pressure. Get the wheel out of the way. What I didn't do is I didn't disconnect a cable over here. You can see it right there. That's for the brake or something. I don't know what the hell it is. But I'm not going to disconnect because I don't want to make my life rough doing anything. So I dropped the rear wheel, got it out of the way. When I did that, there is a plate that goes here. There's 2 bolts on top, 2 on the bottom. Take that plate off, and then you can see that shock cavity where this shock used to sit before I got it out of there. So take that cover off. That'll give you access. Now, if you have a spanner wrench, a lot of patience, and you got really small hands, maybe you can spin that thing up. I don't know, but I couldn't do it. Take your lockable cover off, and you're going to remove about 3 screws on this right here, and it allows this whole thing to shift out so you can see where I can get into that cavity. Now, on the passenger side of the bike, what I had to do here is, again, remove this box here. There's a couple screws, bolts to take it out. That gives you access to where you can see where the shock mounts. Now, that's the top of the shock. The bottom mounts right there where that empty hole is. You take that off, and as long as you have no pressure on this swing arm, that shock will just come out. Confused me a little bit because it has a spring on it. I'm going to prop it up here so we can see it. Has a spring on it, and I didn't want that thing flying up and busting me in the face doing something you know, that I don't want. I'm already ugly enough. I don't need that shit happening. But nonetheless, you got this shock up out of the way. 2 bolts take it off. It just slides, maneuver it out the back. What I did is I moved this to the highest point right here to hopefully correct some of the travel. Now, this is a bike that I bought off of somebody, and they did admittedly lower it. What he doesn't know is if the person bought a different shock to make it lower, or if this is the factory shock and they just they say that 1,000 times, adjusted the spring tension to lower it a little bit. Problem with the bike is when we lean to the left, I don't know what kickstand they put on here, but that kickstand rubs and it scares the hell out of everybody that's riding this bike. So that's what I'm doing to get it all back together, to get that shock adjusted. Again, this part goes to the top, that part to the bottom. Pretty self-explanatory. Hopefully, yeah, I got that right. But I put it in a vise with the bottom locked in and use a spanner wrench to adjust that up a little bit. So I'm hoping I get favorable results. It's not too bad. So again, get the bike stable, get the swing arm down, tire out, remove this side cover, a couple bolts there, not a big deal. Go to the the passenger side, remove this cover, this box here, a couple bolts. It was a pain in the ass, because it had these this chrome cover on it, and these bolts are shaved off. I don't know if some dumbass did that or it wore that way or what, but nonetheless, it's a pain in the ass getting those bolts because they're inside that cover. But you got to get that plate off to expose some screws. Plastic plate comes off, set it aside, and then you can get to the rest of the box and get it up out of the way to get your access to everything you need. So it's really not that bad of a deal. You know, getting some of this off, I am putting some turning signals on here. I put some aftermarket cheap pieces of shit that broke off. But the guy that had the bike before me decided to remove the turning signals. I don't know. He just didn't like safety. I don't know. But I'm trying to get the bike back to where it's a safe product or a safe bike to ride. So that's it. Just be careful with that cable right there. You can see it a little bit right there. Don't bend it up. Don't break it. Make your life hell. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it's a speed sensor. Who knows? Anti-lock brakes. I don't know. I doubt it's ABS. But that's it. Any questions? Hit me up. I'll try to answer them for you.